we worked on. It's related to sending MQTT header IO link data using the SIM1012 to a cloud or to a dashboard or to any technology we would like to send it to. So I'll hang in there for a few more minutes. I think Salim has sent a note there that he's going to join shortly. What do you think, William? Should we wait for him? I think he has seen it before.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably safe to go ahead and move on without him. I do have this on record, so if for some reason he hasn't seen it or anybody else we want to share it with, they'll be able to watch the WebEx of it from our training page.
Yeah, perfect. Just a quick thing, Alexandro. Sorry to put you on the spot, man. Do you have the dashboard available? If not, that's fine.
Might be able to get it up and running in 5-10 minutes.
If you cannot, that's fine. I can show the team here the data, how it lands on the Node-RED dashboard. So it's not a big deal. I should have told you before. So. Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll start on what I have, and then possibly when Alex is ready for us, he can show us his part. Okay. So I'll share my screen here very quick.
Good morning, gents.
Good morning, Salim.
Hey, good morning, Salim.
Good morning, Salim.
How's everyone doing?
Oh, you're doing fine.
Yep. Happy Friday, everyone. And sorry for joining late. Was on a sales call, so what are we up to? Is that the presentation, Abdul, you're taking us through, and maybe a demo?
Yeah, Salim, this is the presentation that will show the topology of the equipment that I'm using here to demonstrate for the team, collecting IO link data and pushing it upwards to a cloud system or to a SICK dynamic dashboard.
Okay,
so yeah,
perfect.
it's the demo that we have. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Anyone has anything before I start, team over here? Salim, do you want to discuss anything before I start, or it's mine now?
No, it's all yours, Abdul. The floor is yours. You can kick us off, please.
All right, thanks, Salim. All right, so team here, this is the presentation that we use to demonstrate for SBD and other customers. So as you see in here, let me use the pointer. All right. So you should see a laser pointer on my presentation. So what we have in here, we have multiple sensors used in this demo. These sensors are collecting different types of data. We have the DT52. This is a distance sensor. So this distance sensor is connected to the SIM1012 using IO-Link. So the SIM1012 is acting as an IO-Link master. And we have another two sensors here. Currently, I'm using the pneumatic sensor. It has some diagnostic data that we will pull using IO-Link. So the data that we're pulling from this sensor is contact temperature and vibration. It's also connected via IO-Link to the SIM1012. The SIM1012 is going to convert this IO-Link data, compile it in an MQTT message, and it will push it upwards. So what I don't have in the presentation here is the MQTT broker. So I have a broker that is currently residing inside my TDC and will display them on Node-RED dashboard. So I'm gonna, before I carry on, do you have any questions on what we have so far? So this is a high level about the topology and what we're trying to achieve with the demo. Okay, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to jump into the app and show you guys what we have in there.
And I'm up and running too for afterwards.
Thanks, Alex. All right, so I'm gonna jump here to the app. So over here we have the app space. And this is the app that is used to do all of the IO-Link connection to the sensors and the MQTT message compilation. So it's a few lines of code, not too much. In here we have the setup for the IO-Link. And within the app, we can tell the SIM1012 which piece of data we are interested in. So this is all based on the mapping that is supplied by the sensor datasheet. We can find the indexes of each parameter we are interested in, and then we can tell the SIM1012, this is the piece of IO-Link data we want to capture from the sensor. So, this is the app over here. And on the right-hand side is a very small HMI or visualization to connect to the MQTT broker. So let's jump to the TDC side. And over here, this is the dashboard that is displaying all of the collected data from these sensors. So as you can tell over here on the left-hand side, on this section over here, this is the data that's coming from the distance sensor. So if I put my hand in front of the distance sensor now, you can see that the measurement is changing. So how's the data landing here? It's coming via IO-Link to the SIM1012. The SIM1012 is converting it to MQTT, and the Node-RED is receiving the MQTT message from the SIM1012. So the idea here is using the TDC to demonstrate a cloud. So, and the customer, when we show this to the customer, we tell them that this is the cloud side of it. So on the right-hand side over here is the other sensor, which is the magnetic sensor, the pneumatic sensor. And as I said, we're collecting two different parameters, the vibration and the temperature, the contact temperature. So I'm going to move the sensor a little bit here, and we should see that the vibration indicators are displaying the X, the Y, and the Z axis vibration. And you can tell here it's pretty hot in my room. This is 30 degrees Celsius. I'm sure it's not that much, but it seems like the sensor, because it's powered, maybe it heats up a little bit. You can see here, I'm putting my hands on the sensor, and the temperature has dropped from 30 to 28. Cool. So this is in a high level what the demo is intended for, which is collecting IO-Link and pushing it upwards via MQTT. So we're not limited to MQTT because the SIM1012 has multiple protocols that it can support. We'll go back to the presentation here. And the next section that we will show is the data that's collected by the SIM1012 is going to be pushed via REST API. And now it will land on a SIG dynamic dashboard. So currently, I have the demo in Alabama, and Alexandro from Florida, he's using the REST API to pull the same data and display it on a SIG dynamic dashboard. So Alex, if you don't mind sharing with us and showing us the dynamic dashboard side of this demo. Any questions before we?
Okay, so
I can see your
similarly,
comments.
all right, you guys see my screen right now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so as you can see, the data measurement that that laser sensor was providing is right here, similar to what we were seeing before. So if he puts his hand on it, we're getting that 250, 280 mark. So nice to see, you know, across the country, we're still able to get that information pretty readily, easily. You got the vibration, the information too. So just a different way of providing the dashboard, right? You got Node-RED in its manner, and then here's with the dynamic dashboard, all the different types of widgets that we can utilize for it. So right now, like Abdul was saying, we're using the REST API. For the customer's sake, we were kind of saying that it's coming straight from the SIM1012, but we were having issues because the SIM1012 is on a different network than his internet network. So for technical side of things, we're actually doing SIM1012 to TDC. TDC is pushing it out over REST. But to also prove out that the SIM can go directly to the dynamic dashboard, I'll have another project here where this is actually using App Engine to simulate. I actually created a sensor app that is simulating a bulk scan and creating just fictitious numbers, and it's sending that information over to dynamic dashboard. The only reason why was because I don't have a bulk scan and I needed to show a dashboard for one, so I just went ahead and emulated it. But with that, this is basically just showing that with dynamic dashboard, I can send a REST command to a device with an App Engine. I can grab that message. So like right now, if I wanted to go ahead and pair it out, it went ahead and zeroed everything out. And after a few seconds, it starts to move up again and starts to add on to it. So it's so we've got currently right now, this is two options with our dynamic dashboard to kind of show and describe how we can grab this information from AppSpace enabled devices. And along with the TDC as well, just so that everybody kind of is reminded that we can put App Engine on the TDC as well. So with that, we've got the ability to reuse a lot of the code from a SIM to a TDC within App Studio. So all of the TCP/IP broadcasting out the REST commands and all that. So out of the box, really, App Engine it uses REST as its backbone on how to even internally with calling the APIs. It's using REST on an internal loop using just localhost to run its commands. So that is really the foundation of how App Engine and how our AppSpace was designed. It's using the platform of Ethernet and REST. So with that, it's really easy to create your own REST commands, REST profiles or functions. I'm not sure exactly what they would call them. I guess it would be like streams or clients, but you can create your own REST structure within AppSpace, which is really nice. So there's that. Maybe I can, if this will open up quickly enough. So at the moment, like I was saying, I'm actually running App Engine on the same device that I'm running Dynamic Dashboard, and they're just communicating right back. So it's actually a really nice combination between the two, because especially when they're on the same PC. Oh, looks like I'm not going to be able to show you anything right now because my App Studio doesn't want to open. So never mind with that. Maybe not. Any questions on the dashboarding though? So we've got the temperature showing you that similarly to how I had it here, you can hit the laser off to turn off, to send signals to the app engine. There we go.
Hey, Alex, on the dashboard, all this data that you're collecting, what's the, how much data can it collect as far as how many hours, days, and how can you retrieve it?
So there is a, here it is. There is a basic form of the historian on what I have. So right now what I have is dynamic dashboard 0.5.
Yep.
So when version 1.0 gets released, is going to be a lot more refined. They're actually, I've been pushing them pretty hard to provide a second view of this historian. So this historian looks great for certain situations, but there's also many times where you kind of want to see this in, you know, when you think of it like in terms of a matrix, you might want to see the matrix inverted to where rather than just seeing one data source and seeing the value for it, you know, maybe the bulk height, but for like this application, the bulk height, volume, mass, all of these are pertinent to a unit of product, right? So maybe instead of sorting it by the source name, you would want to source it by the product name. Like let's say there's a serial number or there's a, you know, like a timestamp or something. So what the idea would be is that we would have, you know, a column where we can organize it by PO number for the customer, let's say, that they have their end user's PO. They can organize it by there, they click on it, and then it will show all the pertinent data that's for that one product or for that one situation. So that looks like they're moving forward with that idea. But for right now, this is what we have, is this historian where you can go ahead and take a look. You can kind of sort it out by what you need, filter it by days and such. So if you needed to export this or whatever, we'd be able to do that as well. I think right now they're just working with CSV files.
So when you export it, what type of format is it in when you export it?
Pretty sure it's just comma delimited, just just CSV at the moment.
It'd be nice if you could use like a PDF somehow.
Ooh, I mean, we could print it out as a PDF.
Yeah,
that
that'd
should
be great.
pretty relatively easy. Oops.
Okay.
Let's see here. So just to kind of show you guys,
or even just
email
it. You may not even need to print it. Just like email it. Maybe you want to send this to, you know, a manager or something for, you know, some presentation they're generating just to show this data, you know.
So I have not gotten to the point yet because Dynamic Dashboard is expecting a JSON payload, JSON formatted payload for with the rest.
Yeah.
Out of the box, so like right now, so these crowns, these are basically the REST commands that you can create in app space. So I just created these, you know, functions for get height. So, or like, let's say get measurement. So with get measurement, this is where it's, you know, doing a bunch of algorithms to just simulate having the bulk scan. But then this is easier. So just like on get height, as long as we're moving, pick a random height a random number, and just this return. So returning the measurement bulk height and returning the height provides me two data points. So if I go back to here and I go to height, let's go back to the very beginning. So we could see that the data source that it receives is the bulk height and the height itself. So for what I did, I actually returned it just the plain and simple, the entire text with, so it's an actual string. So if you look at here, so I converted it to string and then I added the meters on there just for, and this was just to make my life simpler on this side so that we actually had the meter's already here. So it's really customizable in so many ways in both avenues. What I need to really do to finalize this and really get it to where I really want it to be is I'm going to actually return, instead of having this being saved as just the string of the format, I'm going to actually encapsulate it in JSON format so that it is a string, but in the JSON format already, so that when the dynamic dashboard receives it, it's going to know the difference between the bulk height and everything, and then that's going to make it a little bit better later on. So that's kind of on my to-do list, but even without doing all of that extra work and making it, or I guess it's kind of like I'm building a JSON payload within AppSpace just by pushing a string text. Without that, you're limited to only 7 returns. So like with this one that I have, and that's this AppSpace limitation that you can only, was it 7 or 8? I don't know, it's 8 return arguments that you can have per function. So for what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to just encapsulate this all in one payload, into one string payload that's in JSON format, and then we can work around that limitation and just return one parameter. Make sense?
Yep.
But yeah, so the nice thing is, going back to it, I mean, I guess the main thing is, so these crowns that we have, so these are, these I created over here. I could just hit the add button and just create one. And they're the exact same thing as all of the crowns that are built in. So we've got, your IO link crown. So what's nice about that concept is when I go back to here, and I might be using a data source here, aren't I? No, so my local host is my app engine that I'm using, because the app engine is running off of port 80. My dynamic dashboard's working off of port 8080. This structure /API crown. So this dashboard _ bulk scan is my dashboard _ bulk scan that I created. If I wanted to, I could substitute this for instead of using dashboard _ bulk scan, I could use IO link. And then within that, I have my function get height. So if I go back to here, for this one, I have get measurements. Instead of using get measurements, I could do IO link / IO link.remote device / read data. And that would end up sending a signal from dynamic dashboard to my Sim 1012 to run this function. And it gets a little bit, it does definitely get trickier when there's parameters, because the index, subindex, well, actually for this one, it's not, because they're just integers. You just have to send integers into a payload, into the post command. But that's something, just so that you guys realize, that's really the base of how all of it working. So when you're talking about multiple AppSpace devices working together, triggering events and functions, they're just literally sending post REST commands back and forth to each other. Even when you have multiple sensor apps within the same device, you're triggering them over REST internally to each other, back and forth. It's a real, I guess, the basis of how it all works. So if that's makes sense, any questions there?
Alex?
Ideas? Yep. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing then.
Yeah, this API and the rest from the dashboard to the engine, that's very interesting. Yep. So if a piece of code is missing, or you don't want to add a code in the Sim, you can simply just plug it in the dashboard there. Which,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah. sense. All right. So I'm gonna go jump back to Alex. Do you have anything to add on that for us, or you're good there?
I'm good. Continue. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'll share my screen again, and over here there's another another way to pull the data from IO-Link sensors. So instead of let's say if the SIM is a very expensive solution for us, so definitely there are other IO-Link masters that we have. So we can go with maybe a SIG 200 and connect it to the IO-Link sensors, and then via REST API it can land on a TDC converted to MQTT, or maybe no need even for a TDC. Maybe the cloud or the dashboard in that case can directly connect to the SIM 200 via REST API and pull the data. So this is just a different way of collecting IO-Link data and pushing it upwards also to a cloud.
So Abdul and Alexandro, have you guys done that last piece where you just have the API on the server, or where you just pull directly from the SIG without the need for the SIM or the TDC?
Yes, Salim, it's in place. So I would just need to reroute all the connections. So, but we have something in place where we can connect an IO-Link sensor, and the TDC via Node-RED is pulling via Node-RED, and REST API is pulling the information from the SIG 200. Let me see here. I can show you the dashboard for it. Let me see. Yeah, the dashboard
goes the same with that goes the same with dynamic dashboard as well. The production line monitoring and OEE dashboard kits that I think were just put on market. There's part number for it. That dashboard will grab data directly from a SIG 200. You just give it the IP address and it pulls it. So both the TDC and the dynamic dashboard can do that directly.
You said that, I'm sorry, the dynamic dashboard is one, or the TDC, you're saying, Alexandro?
Yeah, either way, we can grab the information directly via REST from a SIG. We've done it and tested it out.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to think here, where would we need that additional layer of hardware? Is it where you would do more on the edge or on premise, where you would do some type of calculations, or for the sake of like, if you're just pulling data through these functions and still able to populate a dashboard, you can get by without that hardware, correct? I'm trying to see where would we need that? I mean, one versus the other.
So Salim, I think here the TDC, we would need it in case the customer is asking for MQTT. So if the customer has...
You mean the MQTT broker or just MQTT sending it? Because
sending it, publishing. So.
For me personally, I say TDC is when you need cellular or Wi-Fi. That's what the TDC is going to be giving you the best of. If neither of those are required, then I would go with the SIM. And if you're not needing to do the extra computation that you're talking about, then there's no need for either of them. But going back to it, MQTT is really I think the latest buzzword, which the SIG does not provide out of the box. So if they're sending it to their cloud via REST, just send it directly from the SIG 200. If they need MQTT, then you need either the TDC or the SIM. The benefit from the TDC is that, well, it's less expensive. It has Wi-Fi and has 3G, but it's not going to provide you the future, it's not going to future-proof you as much as the sim will. The sim is still in development. We're still upgrading firmware. The TDC was just announced that March of 2022, it's going to be discontinued. I think it was just posted on the website. I just saw it yesterday.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, any questions from the team over here? All right. Okay, so there's one more piece of, I think we're running out of time, but I would like to show you guys this new sensor here. It is the multi-physics box 10, MPV10. So this sensor, as you can see it here, it's a very small sensor. Maybe it's 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters. It's pretty small. The intent of it is to collect parameters from a motor, from an equipment, by mounting this sensor on it. So you can see here, this sensor can be mounted via 2 bolts. And I'm currently moving the sensor around. So what is the nice about this sensor? It's an IO-Link sensor. It's very small, and it can collect multiple parameters. So it can collect orientation. It can collect contact temperature. So right now it's saying that the contact temperature is 33 Celsius, and it can collect vibration. And vibration, it can return the data to us in multiple different statistical formats. So RMS, or vibration severity, or kurtosis, or impulse factor. So multiple different ways, or statistical ways that the sensor already does internally and sends us back the data. It can act on 3 different axes, and we can set some limits there. If we exceed the limit, the sensor can send us an event. Hey, there was a vibration that exceeded the limit on the X or the Y axis. So this is the time domain vibration, and there is the vibration frequency domain. So here it can pick up the frequency of a certain vibration, and then we can set the limits on it. We can teach it. And then based on that teaching, the sensor can learn that there is something off the limit. And the last thing here is the shock data. So this is going to take some time here to pull the latest data. This sensor is still a prototype, so it's not released yet. You can see here the last data for the shock. It's displayed in here, and all of this data is available for us via IO-Link. So everything that we're seeing on the dashboard of the sensor using SOPAS right now is available using IO-Link. It's mainly intended for monitoring and for diagnosis. So I think
So,
if the
for this sensor that we're looking at right now, would you need the same configuration that as we were looking at a few minutes ago, like the SIG IO-Link and something like that, if you were, going to monitor this?
Yes, definitely. So this sensor is the perfect fit for that specific parameter. So we can use it and connect to the SIG or to the SIM to collect the data. But to demonstrate for you guys, for me to be able to demonstrate both demos, I had to connect another sensor that can give us the same parameters, which was the pneumatic cylinder sensor. Yep, but definitely this sensor is built for pulling vibration, temperature, and for now, vibration and temperature. For later, they want to have a different version of it where it can pick up the humidity of the room and a couple other parameters. I honestly forgot what they are. But yeah, this is the this is what we have behind the sensor. For the rest of the team who are familiar with the application we did for VW, at VW we had to use 2 analog sensors, one for vibration and one for temperature. So now in future, instead of using a third-party sensors, we already have this MPB10 when it's released, and it's very convenient and it's really a small sensor and easy to integrate, I would say.
Abdul, what's the so orientation is one. What else you picking up from it now? Is it temperature?
Again, sorry.
What are the parameters you're able to get from this sensor now that are available?
Yeah, right now with the prototype that I have, we can pick up the contact temperature.
Yep.
We can pick up the orientation.
Okay.
And you can see here in the screen, I'm moving it. So this is live data right now.
Yep.
And the vibration. But within vibration, there are different ways into looking into vibration that we can pull from the sensor. There's the RMS, there's the vibration severity. So it's all within vibration, but different ways of looking to it. Yeah.
So with the if this sensor or multiphysics box is released now and available, do you think it will be suitable for that VW application, except for the current? Would it be would it get us the vibration and the temperature? Because you had 3 sensors there, 3 separate sensors, right?
That's correct. So we had to use one for temperature and one for vibration. So this guy can replace 2 sensors.
Okay.
For sure. The only limitation is this is an IO-Link sensor, and what we have with VW is the TDC, which does not support IO-Link. So we would need, in this case, the middleman, the SIG200, or we have to use the SIM1012.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So if so you could use this and along with the SIG200 and just that direct Ethernet IP connection to whatever they're routing it, and that's it, right? That'll take care of it. In this case, we will eliminate the TDC and replace it with the SIG, correct?
Correct.
But would you miss out on, is there anything else they wanted that you got to have the TDC, or we can just do the swapping as simple as that?
So the thing that the customer likes about the TDC is we built some sort of a historian locally within the TDC. And the fact that the TDC is generating log files and storing them locally on their machine. And they're having one of their AWS systems decoding these log files and collecting the data. But definitely, if we propose this idea for them and tell them that you can pull the data straight from the SIG, you would not need to log any files or to create any text files. So the fact that we supplied them with a historian on the TDC and a dashboard, that will be the only difference. And I think they liked the dashboard and the historian part of it, the trend.
Okay. Trying to think, is there like a converter in between if you needed to have the TDC for that alarming and pushing notification and what have you? Because it's not compatible with IO-Link. Is there like a converter or something in the middle to leverage that? It's you guys don't have to answer that now, but if you have something in mind, I'm just trying to see if we needed all of this, can we get around that limitation?
Using a SIG, definitely we need something with the SIG because we're limited on what we can do inside the SIG. But if we're using the SIM, it can eliminate the SIG and the TDC. So within the SIM, we can do all of these alarming and the setting up some thresholds or having a dashboard, or that can be done on the SIM.
Okay, got it. We have the options to do it. It'll get down to the pricing, and even that might not be an issue. Depends on the application. So there's ways to give us a broader. We're not limited to one. I'm hearing there's a bucket of things from a software side, the dashboard, the dynamic dashboard, I should say, the app engine, now the hardware. It'll be nice to kind of, and I love where you guys going with this, and it'll be nice to have maybe like a options A, B, C, D, and we say for pure visualization, probably straightforward dynamic dashboard, API sits here, check, that's good. Another one, if they want to do some on-premise filtration or anything on the device itself, then we say, okay, you would need a SIM, possibly TDC. I don't know. But it'll be nice to have this because we're growing that portfolio, and it'll be good to have these methodologies ready to go so we can get right into it and still entertain and still do all these what you guys are doing. It'll just give us it'll give us more options. So can Alexandro and Abdul, can we work on something like that, or you might already have something like a matrix sort of thing?
I've got a matrix that's I think exactly what you're thinking of for the SIM 200, SIM 1000, and SIM 4000.
Okay.
I think the best thing to do would be to just add a column in there for the TDC.
Okay.
And get that out to you guys. Yeah, I can take that on.
Okay. Perfect.
I know we already have one for the SIMs.
All right. That'll be great. And then imagine we can add to this like the dynamic dashboard, and that might be applicable for all of them. I don't know, but it gives us the full blown. We're not limited to any one of those. That's the nice thing about piecing it together. And then when we look at it, we say, oh, okay, we have all these options. Can we mix and match? What does this give us? And so on and so forth. And maybe if we need to pull other people, Alexandro, like the dynamic dashboard team, thinking like Pradeep or Deepak, I should say, because we can continue this, right? And for sometimes we would want to look at all these options. Some might be just clear. We can just do a quick selection. And I'm thinking, I know I'm adding a lot of things, but it's all relevant because you would want the hardware, and then I would add the PCs, the IPCs, or the HMI, and then the software on top of it. Because a lot of times we get hung up on these, and we have to pull a lot of people to come back and say, what type, like that HMI project that we had with the bulk scan. I think that's the one you're driving, Alexandro. It took us a few sessions to get into that point, and now I think we're learning all these products. We're learning applications. This can only help us explore it more and optimize the process of qualifying and selecting the right content.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the combination of dynamic dashboard with App Engine on the same PC.
Great.
It's real nice being able to use app space for the developer code side, but then using dynamic dashboard on the HMI side, because App Studio's UI builder is not the friendliest of things to be able to make nice
Okay.
to make nice UIs. Yeah,
All right.
I'm kind of coming close to just using that as my standard for for UIs.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that list might be the starting point, right? You have the matrix looks like for the sims. We start adding those layers to it, and then we can have the linkage to the other pieces, you know, as the application presents itself. So good deal. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, everyone. I would like to add one more thing on top of this demo is I know sometimes we need to have a TCP connection between a Rockwell PLC with some of the SICK equipment. So there's a version 1.0 AUI that's already available that we can utilize and use to do a TCP connection with any. It's not limited to a SIG device, but it can be used to any of the SIG devices for TCP connection. The nice thing about the AUI, it makes it really much simpler to implement the TCP connection. Sometimes it's very challenging on Rockwell configuring all of the types of the messages, so they are all compiled in one AUI. So I can share this with the team, and you can test it, or you can do some some testing on it and try it out. If anyone is interested, I can share it with them, and maybe you can guys test it and let me know if you have any feedback on it.
Hey, Abdul, do we get that that AOI internally from you or someone within SICK, or?
This is so I worked on this AUI myself, so I can give it to you. It's no one has it. Maybe just
Okay.
Daniel. I shared it with. I can do some testing on it. So definitely, if you need it, I'm the one to send it to you.
Okay,
Hey.
yeah, it'd just be nice to look at, just to see, how it functions. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Abdul, that's a good tool. Thank you for putting that together. I would think, I would say, we might need to have to connect with the function block factory team, because there's a group within the organization that come up with the add-on instruction and function blocks, so they can add it to the library. And if it's something we want to share with customers, that's one thing, but there is something in place. I can let me look more into that. We've used some of these
I'm
function
actually
blocks. Yeah,
I'm the PM for FBS,
okay.
so
All right.
I could. That does sound very interesting. I mean, right now we have it only limited to IO-Link sensors.
Okay.
But there is, I mean, but you're right. I mean, that the intention is in the future this is going to be our online hub for all of it. So yeah, I'll find out it's going to be Peter Kemp is the one that
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've already got a meeting with him early next week, so I'll bring it up. I'll put a note to ask about that.
Okay, perfect. So that would have been my next thing, because I know you brought up the function block factory, and I know you're leading that effort. I just if you'll take that on, Alexandra, then and get it across the proper channels if they want to validate it, or I should say more like put the I'm sure they have a template, right? And it'll be good for you, Abdul, also to know that. Then I don't think that this will be the first and last one, but there's probably other add-on instructions out there, or we might have a need for more, or this one, we might have to do something similar for the other protocols. But I'll leave it with you, Alexandra, then to kind of navigate that and and then because it needs also some level of version controls and ownership. So if anything, then someone is leading that and it's officially released. So you'll be handling that piece, correct?
Yep, I'm starting it up right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And yeah, great presentation, guys. Abdul, Alexandra, this is great. It's evident that we're expanding on these options. For the rest of the team, please, if you have any of these applications, or if we need to do more of these, and I'm sure you can always do one-on-ones sessions, but this is pretty interesting, especially now we have some sensors that can pick up these parameters, and these are 2 for now, at least out of the 3 common ones: temperature, vibration, and current. So that's good. It's a good exercise also to learn more about these dynamic dashboards. There's a series of things that that tie to all this, and this is the right forum and this is the right team to inquire about it, and possibly get some of the hardware if you don't have something already in play to do some trials on your own. One thing, Abdul and Alexandro, would it be possible to like encapsulate this in a demo format where maybe we take a video and show the hardware? I know on the software end it's the dashboard, that's one thing, but can we do something like that? And if we were to show the customer, if it's virtual, we can still show them the actual product, and similar to what we did with the TDC, or can we do this as a mobile demo so we can easily take it and demonstrate it, in conferences or at customer sites?
Yeah, that's the ideal, is that we get this at like a conference and we can do a video with everything right there.
Yes.
To show it. When is that going to be? I mean, PAC Expo's not for a few months, but it seems like we should be getting something like that pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think you guys are like, you have everything pretty much in place. It's just about putting it in that format, and if you need something or some help with that, let me know. But yeah, let's use the very first opportunity, right? If it's any of these conferences, or it could be a customer, right? I think Abdul Ford would appreciate looking at it, and especially with all these different options. Imagine you're doing that in person with them at their advanced manufacturing, or whoever the team you guys are working with. We could take this to any other customer and do similar things. So think about that, and if we can, have it ready, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and we can. The beauty about this, we can always step it up or down, and you guys are driving that, so that's good.
Sure. Right. I mean, yeah, I think we definitely need to figure a way to digitize this into a repeatable format. Make it into like a 2-minute, no more than 2-minute video.
Yeah.
Would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, we got everything in place. It's surprisingly how challenging that is, though.
Yes. Yes.
You get started.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right?
Yeah. It's like writing a thesis. You're just looking at a blinking cursor for a few days.
I've been there all week, Alexandro. I feel you.
Yeah, it's
All right, excellent. So anything else on this presentation from the team before we move on to the other topics?
Yeah, I just have one more quick question. Alexandro, you said that the TDC was going to be discontinued.
Yeah, it's kind of news. I mean, it's completely news to me. I'm just gonna open it up right now and just show you what I saw.
Because if it is, my question is, so for the sake of the demo that you showed us, will you have anything in its place to, for that capability once it's gone? And how will, I know this is like really new, but I guess my question is, if any customer was interested and they wanted to, purchase it, how would that support look like in the future once it's discontinued?
Well, and this is why for me personally, even with the TDC, I'm always going to push App Engine for TDC. So
Right.
that would be my because with that, then that code, whatever code we use for that, can get pushed on to, the second version of the TDC, which is going to have, 4G, and it's going to have additional things.
Yeah.
I think there might be rumors that it might have IO Link also. So when you look at, let me see if I've got it in here.
Alexandro, as you have this, is this this note specific to this particular version of it? The TDC is not going away entirely, right? It's just that one in specific.
Just the two that are available right now. So everything that so when we talk about the TDC, we're always talking about the blue TDC.
Yes,
Right.
yes, the TDCe, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those two are both being phased out.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the 100 and the 200.
Okay.
But with that note though, we can install App Engine onto the TDC, and we can get our our MQTT client still. We can get our TCP/IP client and server. So the code would be really the TDC is when it comes to App Engine, it's a very streamlined SIM 1000. It has a lot less crowns. As you can see, it's just a handful. But with that, all of these crowns are on the SIM. So any code that you write in AppSpace with the TDCe, you're going to be able to, with very minimal effort, I doubt there's any changes you would have to do. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's probably on the connector side. Yeah, there's not even a connector. Okay, so no, it would be pretty much a drag and drop. So with that, it'd be really easy to upgrade people into newer portions, and that is just continuing with the SBB movement and with just us moving into a software platform. This idea of being able to reuse the software for multiple different devices is going to continue. I mean, that's really the beauty of the crowns, is that the FTP client on a TDC using its Linux kernel is completely different. The internals are completely different than an FTP client on a TriSpectre and an FTP client on, on a SIM. But yet, for us as developers in App Studio, we use the same line of code. So
Okay.
yeah, as far as that, yeah, I have this. Me seeing this yesterday is making me feel like we're going to be announced. The second version of the TDC must be right around the corner.
Right.
Okay.
So I can't answer it because this is news to me too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks anyway. That's good to know still. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Alexandro. We can pivot to other topics. So there's one activity we got going on, and we've talked about this before. This is this relates to the site surveys that William is conducting primarily now for the CSG group slash UPS team. We continue to see a trend with that, and it's something we could also use and leverage outside of UPS and the CSG group. It's something, it's actually, it's for the most part, especially when we're getting into the new sites and the customer don't have a lot of insight or details on their platforms, it's always good to have that site survey, and that's the basics for almost everything. But with what we're doing, we're taking that to the next level. We're not just capturing certain data sets. We're doing the process analysis and coming back with pain points and prescribing some of these solutions. So it works, and we want to grow this. So with that, William's been on this training. William, I think you can explain about that training program that you registered for, and then from a high level, we can disclose the plan as we're preparing for this to conduct these internal trainings for the rest of the team, and then we will see based on schedules and availabilities and what have you to grow this team and work alongside with around William on that. So he'll be guidance through that training program. We will leverage the training content we have for the certification, and then even better, we'll have applications where you'll have hands-on. So we have a game plan to do that. This will be coming up in the next week or two. But let me, I'll stop here and hand over to William to tell us a little bit more about that, and then we can open up for questions or any comments. So, William, I'll pass to you.
Awesome, thanks, Salim. So yeah, as Salim mentioned, you know, especially with the UPS CSG group, these site assessments, site analysis have been a great tool that UPS, who is really our customer, and they've been bringing their customers to us. It's been a great tool to really qualify all of these projects. You know, look at our sales force. You know, we've got an extensive sales force. Well, now we've got UPS's sales force, all of their account managers, you know, pulling their customers and bringing them to us. And, you know, majority of the time, they don't really understand what we do or how we can help. So, you know, when we first started this process, you know, every account manager, every sales rep thought that, you know, their customer was the best customer for this job. And, you know, what we saw was we were spending a lot of time and effort on, you know, these customers that weren't going anywhere. You know, the UPS salesperson said, "Hey, I've got this great idea. I want to bring these people in." And then we get to the nuts and bolts of things and start talking prices, and the customer would kind of back out. So to help qualify those projects, you know, I've been going in and, you know, for a small fee, you know, learning what they do, diving into their processes, gathering, you know, that base data that you would need to do a project. You know, what is the, you know, a lot of these are, you know, since they're UPS customers, we're looking at shipping processes. You know, what's the minimum, maximum box sizes? What's the layout? How many are being done a day? You know, I go in and capture all of that type of data. We're seeing that the DWS Panda is a common solution for a lot of these customers. So I've worked with PCA, and they've got a document that, you know, kind of queries the customer for all of this base information that they would need to design the Panda. So while I'm on site, I try to capture all of that data. So it's really saving us time, and it's a paid service. UPS thinks it's a great thing. Having the Lean Six Sigma certification really just adds some clout to what we're doing. You know, Lean and Six Sigma are, you know, really buzzwords in the industry these days, and everybody, you know, has a basic understanding of what those are, and they know that, excuse me, they know that they're, you know, what's the word, their management of processes, and, you know, they've been well defined over the past, you know, 50 to 70 years from when they got started. So it's been a great success. As I said, UPS thinks it's great, and they're pushing this to be that first engagement from the UPS CSG SIC, you know, joining these different customers. So as Liam said, you know, I've spent pretty much all week generating some training documents. I've got one that's really an introduction to what is Six Sigma and how can it be used to help any organization. You know, Six Sigma started in the manufacturing industry. You know, Motorola was really the first company to start it. But I mean, it's grown to, you know, within 10 years of Six Sigma starting up, I think it was something like 70% of Fortune 500 companies had implemented a Six Sigma culture within their industry. So, I mean, it's a huge, you know, thing in business, and it's not just manufacturing. It ties into, you know, any process that you want to apply it towards, it can be used. So I've got a presentation, you know, that I finished this week that'll kind of give you a high-level understanding of what Sigma is and how it can be used. And the second part of that is, you know, more geared towards the site assessments, the lean methodologies that look for waste within a process, because that's really what I'm out there looking for. You know, where are there bottlenecks? Where are there, you know, problems within the system that we can help solve, whether it's with automation or process changes, and then, you know, looking at those different areas, you know, that helps us identify how we can help that customer increase their efficiency, optimize their processes, and, you know, have a foundation to say, hey, we think you should make an adjustment in this area because of this, and here's a solution that can solve that problem. So, I mean, from a high level, you know, that's really what we're looking at. You know, let's get a team of people that understand, you know, the Lean Six Sigma methodology and can go out to a customer site, document the current process, because really, you know, you can't start doing anything as far as designing a solution unless you know where you're currently at. And a lot of these companies, you know, they understand how their businesses work, but they don't have it documented in a way that, you know, an engineering team can come in and start, you know, designing a solution. So, you know, through, you know, process maps and, you know, identifying the areas that are problematic, it better lets our teams come up with a solution. I know we've talked about CorrectRx. You know, that was one of the first site assessments I performed for the UPS CSG group. And, you know, we're putting in a DWS Panda system at the end of the month. My US had us come out and do a similar type assessment for a system one of our competitors put in because they were having issues after installation and they needed a third party to evaluate that system and identify problems. I did a brief week or so ago for another customer that looks like, you know, it's probably going to be roughly a $500,000 project to put in a conveyor system with a DWS Panda and sortation. So, I mean, these have the potential to, you know, bring in some follow-through work for us, but at the same time, you know, it's a paid service that we're getting, you know, credit for. So, Celine,
William,
that kind of, yeah, go for it, Terry.
Speaking of the Six Sigma, as far as certification, I know that you have to pay for that. Do we have something available right now on Mosaic that we can utilize, or do we need, if we wanted to, if we were interested in that, as far as getting certified in that, what would we do?
So I think that training that I was just describing is probably going to be our first step. You know, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of what Six Sigma is.
Yep.
You know, see if it's something you're really interested in. See how we're applying the tool set that comes from the Lean Six Sigma methodology, and you know, start building a team based off of the interest. Once, you know, we decide that, you know, there is interest there, you know, we're gonna, you know, take a leveled approach. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Six Sigma, but there are, you know, 4 main certifications. You know, you got your white belt, your yellow belt, green belt, and black belt. So as we start growing our team, you know, we're going to start with, you know, let's start with the yellow belt, because really the white belt is just a high level understanding, and really that's what I based my training on. Is, you know, if you go through the training that I put together this week, you're probably 90% of the way to getting a white belt certification. You know, you got that high level understanding of what Six Sigma is. So, you know, we're going to tackle the white belt through my training. If it's something that, you know, you find that you're interested in, you want to follow, then we're going to set up a path to get the next level of certification, the yellow belt, and start applying those tool sets to some of these site assessments. And then from there, you know, we can continue to, you know, progress through the different levels all the way up through a black belt. So it is something that we're putting in place. As you know, I'm kind of the guinea pig right now. I'm actually currently working on my black belt certification. So the training I'm going through right now, I think it's a good training for somebody like me that has a background in Six Sigma already. But it's very dry. I mean, they sent me this book that's, I don't know, a page here. It's over 800 pages long, and the course material is literally read a chapter and then take a test online. So it's very, very dry. And if I didn't have the background that I had, it probably wouldn't be sufficient. But there are other programs out there that have, you know, a different approach. You know, the one I did for my last employer, it was an online-based program that was a lot more hands-on, a lot more activities. So, you know, we're looking into those different types of programs to, you know, really, my intention is to find one that's good for a good fit for different people. You know, if you have a background in Six Sigma, the one that I'm going through is probably pretty good. If you're new to the methodology, you know, maybe we need to find one that's a little bit more hands-on. But yeah, we're working on all of those processes right now.
Okay, because I know last week I just looked at the site where you actually purchase if you know, going to get a bundle. they're selling the bundle online, and then there's different industries that they, you know, for the black belt anyway, they have whatever. If you can get the generic one, or you can get one that's tailored for the industry that you're, you know, targeting, whether it's logistics or whatever. And then they have that bundle where you start from the, you know, the white to the black belt. And it's, I guess they have a discount on them right now. So I just thought I'd ask what was going to be the approach, and then what would be the level of belt that you would, that I guess that, I don't know if it would be a requirement. Say if you were this team, what would be the belt level that would be the goal to go out and do surveys in the future? Would it be working towards the black? Would you go out as a yellow, or has that been determined yet?
So we don't have anything, you know, definitive, but I think for the site assessments that we're doing, I think probably a yellow belt
Okay.
would be the minimum that I would
Yeah.
recommend.
Right.
You know, between yellow and green, you know, those two are, you know, pretty similar as far as the methodology goes. Green belts, you know, a little bit more in depth with the statistical tools, but for the site assessments, we're really not getting into the Six Sigma side of it. It's more the beginning phases, the process mapping, identifying, right, you know, the inefficiencies in a process. So I think at a minimum, you know, I would want a yellow belt certification for the site assessment.
Okay.
But like I said, you know, we want to grow this team, and a lot of these assessments turn into actual projects.
Yep.
Where we're leading as the technical project manager. So, you know, as we transition from doing a site assessment to the project manager, you know, I think a higher level of certification would be helpful there. So, you know, maybe, you know, if you progress through and get a green belt, you know, maybe you can do the site assessments and also be the technical project manager for some of the follow-on projects. And then, right, you know, ultimately, you know, if you're still interested and you see, you know, you have the drive to continue on and get your black belt certification, you know, we'll have that option available too. And then, you know, then you can do everything throughout the process. So we kind of want to make it like a tiered level approach where, you know, yep, you come in as a yellow belt, start with the site assessments. As you grow and get your certifications higher, you can start taking on more responsibilities on the project management side.
Got it.
Yeah, so
thank you.
Yeah, the idea here is have this roadmap, right? There's different ways to go about it. Each company cannot do it a little different, but the common theme is always starting with the training. So that's one piece, right? But that could be dry if it's not relevant, or you gotta be able to apply that to some type of application and maybe to a segment. If we're talking, for example, logistics, then for someone that have the background and understanding of that processes and layouts and how it's broken down, that's gonna be that's gonna help a lot versus someone, let's say, new to automotive, and then we're targeting that segment, then it's not gonna sit well. So with that, you know, said, we this is an open invite for the whole team. So we're gonna do it in an easy format, as William has his background with this, and now he's just getting the certification because William, you have the black belt or the Six Sigma from your previous employer, but that doesn't carry over from an employer to another, correct? Just that I want to be accurate with what I'm saying.
Well, no, I didn't have my black belt.
Okay.
I actually got what that company called was a bronze belt, which
okay,
isn't even a true color in the Six Sigma methodology. But that company had a long history with Six Sigma, and all throughout the organization, everybody was trained at some level of Six Sigma. And Greenbelt, they felt that their Greenbelt program had kind of been watered down, and was just a check in the box for a promotion. So they redesigned the training program, changed it from a green belt to a bronze belt, and it was 1,000 hours of online training, 2 weeks of in-person training, and then a completion of 2 Six Sigma projects within a year. So I'd say most likely what I got was a green belt, but a lot of companies like Ford, Ford has a long history in Six Sigma. If you get your Six Sigma certification at Ford and you transfer to a different job, that certification does not transfer because you were certified by Ford, not by a overarching company. So what I'm going for now is a certification that would, follow me to know whatever organization I went to. If I left sick for some reason, this certification would go with me.
Okay. Got it. All right. And so yeah, on Ford, you're right. I've done those Six Sigma classes and I got the green belt, and we had to work on a project with a certified, they call it master black belt, I think. And that would have been my next transition, but I left the company. So we will do this similar thing. So by having William, as he's going through it, he's got the material to take the team through those initial high-level settings in preparation to start stepping it up. And then we will have, the beauty about this is we'll have actual projects or actual site surveys, I should say, and then you will be shadowing and working hand in hand with William on some of those. We'll see how that's going to work out. And then even better, when these opportunities land after we get these site surveys and assessments, like that My US project, or this CorrectRx, we do this site survey, we give them the report, and then it's producing those actual POs and projects. And then for someone that's doing that from the get-go and transitioning into that TPM role on site, it gives you the full history. You're familiar with the application, you're a part of that solution development, and then staying on that project. That's the idea. So it's been working out great with the customer because they're getting a very thorough, detailed, professional report, telling them about their processes, things they don't know, things they overlooked, and then sitting down with them and looking at it saying, hey, it makes sense to put in this sorter here or automate this, add, whatever it is, based on facts, based on real data sets versus just, coming in and just winging it, right? So it's been acknowledged by UPS, as William mentioned, and it's the right approach. That's the bottom line. So we have these opportunities. We're taking this stab at it. Please come, with this understanding where it's, and you'll have questions, and let's see if that's a fit. If you're into this type of stuff, if mindset and detail oriented and like the processes, like to put facts to it and lay down the process and have these intelligent and or these conversations so you can make sound decisions, that's the path to go. And guess what? You're surrounded with the experts that we would pull in at that point to make these decisions. What's that process optimization look like? We have the PCA team, we have the sales force, we have consultants that we work with at times. So it's just all connected. and we will have the roadmap. So it's not limited. If we start with this certification, maybe down the line, if it's all working and you're into it, why not get to the black belt certification? I mean, William is already on that path. And for some of us that like more the integration and the engineering, that's perfectly fine. There's room for that too. It just opens up this, opportunity for all of us, and we'll have this structure in place and facilitate it. So we're making it easier, and we'll have these blocks in place so you move from one step to the other. So look out for the, I think, William, you think you'll start conducting these sessions, high-level sessions, as early as next week or the week after?
Yeah, I have the first one done right now.
Okay.
And, I haven't run through it to see how long it would take to actually present it, but I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be a 3 to 4 hour session. And I figure that's probably good for, something like this, and that's why I'm kind of breaking it into two. So the first one's going to be, what is Six Sigma? And like I said, it's basically the white belt, what gives you that high level understanding of what Six Sigma is.
Yeah.
And then I'm working on the second one that's going to be more geared towards, getting ready to do a site assessment. What are the tools and information that you need to provide a good site assessment for, what I've been doing. And I'd say, by the time I'm done with this one, it's probably going to be another, 2 to 4 hours. This one's going to be a little more hands-on once we get to, the process mapping and the understanding. So it's not going to be, quite death by PowerPoint that the first one is. But, I'm trying to, find a way to engage the team. For those of you that are interested in it, one of the things that, I recommend doing now is, I don't know if you guys have Microsoft Visio on your computers yet, but that's going to be a definite tool that you'll need in your toolbox for, definitely for the site assessments. And during the training, I'm actually planning on, opening up Visio and, building some process maps with the team in the training and walking through how to do it, how to use it, and, seeing that final result. So if you're interested, go ahead, put in a request to IT to have that software. I mean, we have it internally through the company. All you have to do is ask. It doesn't cost anything. So, feel free to put that request in now. And then, while we're in the training, if you want to, work alongside and, mimic what we're doing in the training, you'll have that available at that time. But I'd say next week, reach out to everybody, see what their schedules are. I'm on PTO Thursday and Friday, so it'll have to be, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and we'll set up a session for the first one, get that high level understanding, and then I'd like to maybe do the second one the week after that. And really the drive for that is, I've got a site assessment. I actually got confirmation from the customer this morning to be in Peoria, Illinois, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So, if there is some interest on the team, I've already talked to Salim about, maybe having one or two of you, come out to the site with me and, get some hands-on experience. I think that'll be a good one. It's a small warehouse. They actually want me to look at two separate processes. So we could have, two people, one focus on each one of the processes, and we can work together to get those done. So that's really what I'm striving for, is to get the training done before then and have, one or two of you join me on that job. And then I know I've got another one probably the second week of June. So, I mean, it's not going to be just the first come. If you miss out on the one at the end of May, you're not just out. You know, I've got plenty of these piling up in my queue. And, you know, eventually, you know, I'd like to, you know, be able to send you guys out and do these on your own. You know, we're getting, I think I've got 6 or 7 of these sitting in my queue waiting for the customers to come back with POs. But it's keeping me pretty busy. So I think, you know, we can get the team trained up and get out there and, you know, learn how things are made. That's really the way I look at it. You know, how do you move a box from point A to point B in a 3PL? Why are they doing what they're doing? You know, how do you create a product, a good or service? You know, that's really what this boils down to.
Yeah. So thanks, William. I think if we're able to do that first session early next week, Monday or Tuesday, and then follow up the week after, that'll be that's a good segue for the in-person visit, and then we'll look at schedules and everything else. But did you say, so it's a 4-hour in total, and you're gonna break it into 2 sessions, correct? So 2 hours, 2 different sessions.
No, the
No?
first session will be 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
And then the second session will probably be pretty close.
Okay.
Might be a little bit shorter because it's more hands-on and less material.
Okay. So I think there's probably just few of us that might be traveling next week, and we can always record this. But I think to get it in that sequence or in that order, we'll take advantage of the availability right now and having the bandwidth. So I'll leave it up to you, William, if you think for next week, if we do, you're thinking 1 day for this 3-4 hour, or two separate days, Monday and Tuesday, whatever you think is work. If the material is, you can make that judgment, and then we'll do a similar thing for the next week. But I'd like to get that stenciled. I know you're out Thursday or Friday, so let's start as early as Monday and jot that down. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, looking at my schedule, I've got a meeting Monday afternoon and Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, for the group, I mean, would you rather, you know, knock it out in a 4-hour session, or would you rather, you know, do 2-hour sessions to get through the material? Because I mean, to me, I mean, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. And I can accommodate based off of, you know, the consensus of the group.
Yeah, you can either put in the chat really quick or just voice your preference. So, Terry, what do you think? 1 day or 2-day session?
Like 1 day, 8 hours. Well, that's pretty long, but
No, one day, 4 hours.
okay.
1 day, 4 hours, or
Yeah.
2 days, 2 hours apiece.
I think 2 days.
Okay. Mohammed?
Would be better.
2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Eric? Okay.
Looks like Eric's having Microsoft issues, or microphone
Okay.
issues.
No problem. You can punch in the chat, Eric. It's okay. Or unless someone, if someone can help him out with if he's trying to
Yeah, I can see
troubleshoot
it.
something.
I can see his
Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, if you figure that out, let me know, because I can get the audio to come out of my computer, but it always tells me there's no microphone.
He
So
just
if you
typed
figure
2
it out,
days.
I'd be
Did you see it?
interested.
Yes.
Yeah, it said his control was stuck. See it on the chat
There we
window.
There we go. Yeah, but I've been having issues with the sound, but I figured that out earlier today. But yeah, 2 days would be good for me.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Let's see.
Well, I'd say
Moses.
that'd definitely be a consensus of the group.
I think so.
Like the majority's on 2.
Yeah. Are you saying whatever Moses and Abdul say, we're just going with 2 days?
Yeah, it seems
Yeah, I think
even if
2
both
days
of them said 1, they're outvoted.
There you go. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So we're looking what, Monday, Tuesday, William?
Yeah, I'll set something up for
Okay,
Monday,
perfect.
Tuesday, and I think I can roughly see everybody's calendar. So if your calendar's up to date for next week, or I guess if it's not up to date, can you just throw in what you have, and then I'll try and schedule it when as many people are free as possible, and I'll look to
Okay.
do that this afternoon. So.
Okay. Yeah, put me there as optional. Mid-morning on those 2 days, I think is good, but don't just do anything just for me. It's more for the team. I can always watch it afterwards, but I might be sitting in for some time, like to get a refresher on that. And Alexandro, I mean, this comes without saying, you're a part of the team. So if you're available, by all means, I don't have to, I mean, you're already by default, again, as part of our DTC group. So if your time allows, you're more than welcome to join as well.
Yeah, put me on. I mean, I definitely copy me on it. And if it works out, I'll definitely be able to make it if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw you as optional as well, and if you can make it, great. If not, I'll record the session so that if you're having troubles going to sleep at night, you can put that on in the background.
There you go. All right, good deal. William, thanks for driving that. This will be a great training for sure. And then it's a need, and we're doing what we need to do internally to step that up. And this will be a good exercise with this game plan. So that's awesome. Anything else on that one? I think we're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes too. So.
Nope, nothing on my end.
Just threw in the chat a link to a Mosaic page that I just mocked up, adding the TDC column to things that kind of compare the crowns. So I found the one that had all their sim, and I just added a column for the TDCs. So that's something that you were thinking of. There's that, and I can post it more on our NPM page. I hope you guys can see it.
Yep, I just clicked on it and I got to that one. So
Yes,
Okay.
I'm able to see it too. Yeah, this is great. Having the breakdown there and what's okay. Yeah, perfect.
All right, I'm gonna get going, guys. I gotta.
Yeah, thank you,
Call.
Alexandro.
And okay, see you guys.
See you. Okay, it's a good matrix if you guys are looking at it now, so it's good to have that as a reference. I'm gonna mark this. I'm gonna save it, I should say. Yeah, nice document to have. Okay. Anything else from the team? Any requests or any comments? Anything while we have everyone here for next couple of weeks? Any activities? Anything in particular you want to inquire about? Okay. All right. If not, just a couple of things. So we, alongside the training program, we have a analytics, package analytics, deep learning, probably auto coding, hands-on training that might be coming up. And then there's another one. It just escaped me. Actually, yes, it's the safety auditing training. So Moses, Mohammed, and Terry, your name is on that one. You've seen that communication email. So I don't know if Darren or Bell had reached out to you guys. They mentioned they'll have a kickoff meeting, and then they'll tell us about the schedule. So is there anything set? Have you received any of these invites on that topic?
Yeah, I got the email.
Okay. Yeah, you get the email is the communication, but then
Yeah, but
Darren was
yeah,
gonna
we
send
didn't get
that.
the schedule yet.
Okay, all right. We don't have the schedule, and you don't have a kickoff meeting or a conference call set up.
Not yet.
Okay, okay.
Not yet.
All right. Yeah, I would probably be on it too, but in case if I'm not, they just keep me in the loop. I'm gonna just keep checking in and inquiring with Darren. But that'll be hopefully coming up soon, and then they're having a bandwidth issue when it gets to this validation. So it will be a win-win as you guys get trained on it, so you can help with that capacity problem, and it will help us with utilization. So that's one aspect of the training. And then the other ones, as I mentioned, there's also the hands-on training that Eric, you're going on to with Daniel and Randall around Panda for that correct RX. So we have a series of things that's happening, and eventually we're just gonna start getting more tied up with actual projects. But until then, we'll keep, upskilling and building on competencies and taking, leveraging the time while we have the capacity and efforts to be ready when these projects, come through. So it's coming slowly but surely. If you need anything around that, like any tools, softwares, hardware, there's always these things that, especially with us working remotely, please reach out, as soon as you find out, and then William and myself will help facilitate that ask and get you what you need beforehand, so you're ready for the training. So yeah, I will. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions or any comments before we wrap it up?
Salim,
Nope, I'm good.
I would just say regarding the FANUC training, that is something separate or not?
Yes, I'm checking against the what do you call it? The our capital budget, but we need to get that also on the book, and that's a part of this training, Charlie. So I'll come back to you on that one.
Sounds good.
Give me till Monday. If you don't hear from me, please ping me on it. I'm checking in on that internal process.
Yeah, and Eric, I know you're also interested into this type of trainings for specifically the FANUC robots. so you might probably also join in.
Okay. Yep, sounds good. Let me find out on the timing is one thing. I think we know that it's just the process about going you know, for signing up for these things. It's just I'm working through the internal process with that. So give me till Monday or Tuesday at the latest next week to get that sorted out. Okay. Anything else?
I guess just a friendly reminder, Sunday's Mother's Day, so make sure you reach out to your mothers and thank them, and your wives if you got children. Don't forget them either.
All right, don't remember, I gotta do it twice.
Thank you. Thanks, William. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. With that, thanks everyone. Have a great Friday and enjoy your weekend. And happy Mother's Day for all the mothers out there. Enjoy it and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Salim.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.